The first one is education, and I think the easiest demographic to educate are our children because they're full of fresh ideas and they haven't been influenced by so many things. So children to start with. The other demographic that I'd love to target are those that have the wealth to make changes, to help secure farmland, to help provide the real estate that we need to have markets and things in the city. So that would be my first, would be education. One would be to expand our farmers markets and to help nurture the relationships between consumers and farmers, which at the farmers markets that we have currently in Vancouver, a farmer does have to represent himself at the table, so it helps to build that relationship between the consumer and the grower. So that would be my second. And gosh, the third one would be to work with the restaurants so that the restaurants, because a lot of food gets eaten at restaurants, like a huge amount, and I think that's growing every year because people are cooking less and less as their lives get busier and busier. So working with the restaurants to buy more food locally. So what this hub would be is we're looking at a building that would be about 10,000 square feet, LEED Platinum, I mean if we're going to really shoot for the stars here, that was centrally located, ideally on public transit as well as on the train system that would allow food to be brought into Vancouver from the areas of higher agriculture. And it would offer a kitchen so that we could be teaching classes on cooking. It would give an opportunity for chefs to train other chefs as well as just the local people on how to work with local products. It would have an educational component, so there would be classrooms that could reach all levels of ages to teach. And it would also have a farmers market that would work for indoors and outdoors year-round. Also, we'd love it if it was a facility with cold storage so that when product was brought in from the interior that we could store it. Restaurants could come, they could buy in bulk, and it would just be literally the middle of a wheel of everything that it takes to eat locally. My husband and I used to live on a 50-acre organic farm just east of Fort Langley, and when we were ready to move, we had a lot of people that approached us to buy the land, and none of them had the intention of farming it. And I think that's very common these days, is that agricultural land comes up for sale because typically a farmer can't afford to pay for it as land prices get more expensive closer to the city. So there's the issue of preserving land for agricultural use, relieving the farmer of the temptation to sell it to someone who's going to pay a lot more money for it than they would to farm it. Yeah, a lot, just because the population is growing, a lot of land is getting turned under and turned into apartment buildings, housing complexes, and ALR, for some reason, with the agricultural land reserve, I think there's a certain amount that has to stay in the ALR, but their definition of what's arable isn't necessarily optimal for growing food. So they're swapping land in the Fraser Valley for mountainous regions in the interior and keeping the same amount of acreage in the ALR but depleting us of agricultural land.